Hello, new world. All the boys and girls, I got some true stories to tell.
The fuck is
We're
this?
back outside, but we still lied. Whoa, yeah. Take off the foo-foo. Take off the cloud chase. Take off the Wi-Fi.
Okay, yeah.
Take off the money phone. Take off the car loan. Take off the flex and the white lies. Take off the weird ass jewelry. I'm gonna take 10 steps and I'm taking off top 5. Take off the fabricated dreams and the microphone memes. It's the real world outside.
Did you remember that, or were you reading the lyrics?
I remembered it. Fuck. Do you know my fucking memory, bruv?
Is it didactic?
When it's K-Dot, bruv.
Okay.
Hello, new world. Have you listened to that song where he's like, push these niggas off me like, huh?
Is it on the album?
You should have listened to it.
I did listen to the album. If it was on the album, then I listened to
So
it.
you should know that bit.
Like, it was one of many unremarkable songs on the album.
Oh, is that the energy we're on?
That's the energy I'm on.
We need to get into this podcast.
This
Good
and
terribly episode 42.
What it do,
baby? You are here with the lovable old married couple.
It's depressively true.
Man like Abby, that's me. Abby Ade, big man. A man like Johnny Vivaz.
Hello.
Say hello to the people.
Hello to the people.
You just did. Shout out our Amazon Music listeners, our
Yes.
Spotify listeners,
Yes.
our SoundCloud listeners,
Yes.
our Apple Podcast listeners,
Yes.
and our YouTube listeners.
Nasty people.
They said we were going to get a heat wave. They lied.
They lied.
There
in
was
our
no
face.
such thing.
No, it was rainy and grey.
It was raining and shit.
It was a grey wave.
It was horrible. I mean, it was never
Bad
a heat
vibes
wave
island.
to start with. It was like a peak of 2021 when I looked at the app anyway, when they were talking all that shit. They lied to us anyway.
See, this country is starved,
Bro,
bruv.
we can't lower our standards like that. What, a
That's
heat wave at
haram.
20 degrees? What the hell is going on?
People celebrating mediocrity. It's like
Anyway.
football all over again.
Big up all of our listeners. Big up all of our parasocials.
Yes.
We love you. We're going to jump right in. Johnny, how's your week been, bro? You came in here with quite a bit of tension in your shoulders,
Yeah.
bruv. You might need a little deep tissue, a little Swedish rub.
Yeah, I take a forehands right now. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, it's not sunshine and roses every week in the markets. Do you know what I mean?
Swear down.
Fortunately, I'm not going through the same travails that many men
Yeah.
are going through, which we're going to get into in the episode.
Yeah.
But you know,
I mean, it sounds like you may be going through some of the same
oh no, it's not those travails that are causing my
the
issues.
different asset class. You know what I mean?
Well,
Them
different
things
asset class, different reasons and drivers.
All them thing there.
You
All them
man,
thing there.
you man deserve to lose your pee.
I forgot to say happy Kendrick Lamar week
Oh, God.
to you all. Month, actually. Year, actually. Hope you all, like I, locked in some tickets to see the man, the legend, at the Outta Arena.
Oh, when?
This November? Is it November? Yeah, it's November.
Rated, like 6 months in
Yeah,
advance.
man,
you gotta book.
them tickets were spenny as well, bro.
Swear down.
Oh my
How's
god.
Benny going?
To be fair, like
Say it, how's Benny?
they were. I bought 4 tickets. They're like £400. Yeah.
Each.
No, not each.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, £100, that's all right.
It's £100 all right.
It's like what you pay to go watch a football match.
Yeah, but it's all getting too expensive, mate. To be fair,
Are
I
they
know-
decent seats or are you up in the gods?
They're good seats.
That's fine then.
I think
How
they're
long's the
decent.
concert? 2 hours?
It'll probably be like 2 hours. And Baby Keem is opening as well, and one of their other artists that are like Tana Leone.
But 2 hours, that seems reasonable.
It is reasonable.
Even in this economy, that seems reasonable.
It is reasonable.
How are you, Rich?
I'm
How's your
good,
week
mate.
been?
I'm live. You know what I mean? Like it's Friday. I'm in short shorts right now.
You're quite
like,
short.
Everything
Quite
is
short.
blessed. Everything is
and
good.
the beanie hat at the same time.
And
Shorts
the
and a beanie hat.
The thing is, right, sometimes I dress inside my house when we're recording this in a way that I normally wouldn't dress if you weren't here, because I feel like, you know, you got to get into character. You know what I mean? You got to get into character.
Is your character a massive dickhead?
Okay. Just blindsided by that one. Thank you. Who needs enemies when you have friends like you? But I'm good. Oh yeah, I've hit the 5-minute mark on my planking, bro.
Oh, yeah?
Bruv.
Mazel tov.
Bruv.
You are as strong as a 13-year-old gymnast.
I did the calculations. If I go up in increments of 1 second per day for the rest of this year, by the end of this year, I'll be doing a 9-minute plank, papi.
Jeez, that's quite a good effort, you know?
8 minutes, 51 seconds to be
Close
exact.
enough. Close enough.
But I think if I get that close by the end of the year, I'll just go for the full 9.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
I find that like the songs are really, really important, right? I realized that listening to like a podcast doesn't quite do it.
Yeah, you need the intensity.
Like, yeah, listening to like I was doing this thing where I was like, I'd pick a song based on the length that I have to do. So I'd find a 4.5 minute song for a 4.5 minute plank.
Okay.
So all you got to do is just focus on the song. When the song's done, you know you're done. And that worked, but the intensity has to be right. But this new Kendrick Lamar album with that song N95, bro, even though the song's like only 3 minutes 15, I feel like I can plank forever when that song comes on.
Do you know, the BPM is very important, so I don't do it for planking, but when I'm trying to actually set a pace on the treadmill, I have to listen to a very specific kind of music.
You out of pocket.
It's very weird. If I listen to a book or a podcast, which is probably more enjoyable to me personally, I can't run as quick, right? But if I'm actually trying to set a time, I have to listen to Bashment.
You out of pocket.
It has to be Bashment. It's very strange. Like reggaeton doesn't work, R&B doesn't work. I've tried running to grime, doesn't work. Has to be Bashment, and I can't explain it.
You can't run to grime. To be fair, grime, it's too fast.
You just feel inadequate.
Then palpitations.
And you set pace that you can't manage.
Yeah.
Bashment is just like a good, steady...
Are you shaking your booty on the treadmill?
A little bit.
It's disgusting.
A little bit. I'm
That's
waving
fucking
hands.
disgusting. I really didn't want you to admit
I got
that.
pace. Don't worry about me. I'm aiming sub 24 soon. It's coming. It's coming, baby.
Just like bare butt cheek percolations on the treadmill for you.
I'm Latino blessed. What
In
can
the
I
Ned.
say?
In the Ned.
In the Ned.
In the Ned. We got a lot of things to get through because it's been a pretty busy week.
Busy couple weeks.
And I really didn't want to start here. But the biggest story of the week has obviously been what has taken place in Buffalo, New York in the last few days. I hope you're not desensitized. I really hope you're not desensitized. They will have you believe that because we're in the UK that this doesn't hit or doesn't hurt us as much, but I'll be honest, it's hitting harder than ever. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you've been living under a rock. But May 15th, last week, another mass shooting took place in America. I mean, I think they're well into the hundreds of mass shootings in America for 2022. This time it took place in Buffalo, New York, which obviously hits close to home. I don't have family in Buffalo, but I have family in New York, and I'm black, so naturally they are too. Mm-hmm. The shooter, this 18-year-old, I'm not even going to say his name, live streamed this attack on Twitch. Are you on Twitch?
I have watched a few like Football Manager tournaments.
Yeah.
But
you've watched Football Manager tournaments on Twitch. Look at how you're spending your time.
Yeah. Yeah, and we can get into it if you want, but I feel like there's more important things.
Do you think I want to get into that?
I mean, at some point you will.
You will. Not in this lifetime or the next.
He will.
Anyway, he streamed the live attack or live streamed the attack on Twitch. And obviously has been taken into custody since and was reported to have written his plan in the form of a manifesto and described himself as a white supremacist in support of something called the Great Replacement theory, which, I mean, I'll spare you the details, but it is a faction of far-right rhetoric.
Cornerstone of fascism.
Yeah.
Central to the ideology.
And for the first time, thankfully, I don't know if this is sign of the times or the Biden effect, or I don't know, but for the first time in a while, this was described as domestic terrorism, which we're not quite used to when it is people of Johnny's complexion.
Wow. That's Josh's people. It's not my people.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Shout out Josh. And obviously this incident is being investigated as racially motivated. He shot at 4 people outside this supermarket and killed 3 of them. He went inside, shot at 8 people and killed 6 of them. Then killed a security guard who was an ex-cop. So 10 people killed, 3 injured. 11 of those were black. And you might have seen the point where he pointed his gun at a white person who was hiding, cowering, and then decided to divert his attention away from that person after apologizing to them and not shooting. The shooter then went outside where officers were able to talk him into dropping his gun after he reportedly aimed it at his own neck, which is crazy. And after his arrest, he was apparently making some disturbing comments regarding the motive and his state of mind. He didn't come from Buffalo. He traveled from 3.5 hours in from somewhere else in the state of New York. And obviously there's been condemnation from across America, from across the world. Biden has said something along the lines of white supremacy is a stain or a poison within America. I wanted to report it because we've had a while since we've had like quite a high profile. And when I say a while, I say that relative to America's issues, right? Like we've had a while since we've had one of these. And I don't really know what to say other than I just don't really know what we have. I don't, being a black person is quite difficult because it's like you go through motions or moments where you're just like, you read these stories and you see these things and you just, at least if you're like me, you're just like, raw, what have I actually done? What have we done to you? Like, what have we done to you, man? Like, I don't know why my mere existence can make you want to do this to me and my people, right? And I've always said, like, even before Trump came in, that we're sort of heading towards a quote-unquote race war. I think the way that culture is being used in different parts of the political sphere is leading up to a fucking disaster. But I was always being this anti-pacifist person that I am, was just like, nah, love is the only way, etc. But I'm kind of just now switching my rhetoric altogether, and I'm now just at the point where I'm just like, what will be, bruv? Honestly, what will be will be. Like, you stick to your own, we stick to our own. If we have to beef, we have to beef.
Let race battle royale.
Let there be a survival of the fittest if that's the thing, innit? Because I'm tired of it, bruv. I'm tired of it. It's just it's exhausting. It's fucking exhausting, bruv. Like I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what is there to say? 100 different angles. This guy, as you said, he came from inside state of New York, unlike your man, what's his name, Carl Brown or something, the guy who did the Kenosha shooting across the state
Carl
line.
Rittenberg.
Carl Rittenberg, that's the guy. So this one's an intrastate issue, but he had a very clear mandate, much like the Christchurch shooter, Brendan, whatever that dickhead's name is. The great replacement theory is a very dangerous theory. And when I said it was a cornerstone of fascism, it speaks to the idea that white people are being replaced by outside races. The irony being that white people are native to the North American continent in the first place. It's a theory that's been used over and over again. It was the center of Nazi ideology, which cast Jews and Africans as threats in different guises to the purity of the Aryan race in Europe. Its modern incarnation is that, funnily enough, black people are going to replace, or Muslims are going to replace white people. The irony is, of course, that actually the demographic that's most likely to replace white people in the US is my people, is Latinos. So you don't really get white shooters targeting us, and I wonder why that would be.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with people's skin color, probably. And at what point do the US media establishment start to take culpability for the radicalization of these people? There was hours of airtime dedicated to the prevalence of online activity in the role of creating Muslim extremists and Islamist extremists. There were books written and propaganda campaigns about the dangers of black nationalism through the 70s and the 80s. And yet this white nationalism is broadcast on primetime TV on multi-billion-dollar networks in the US. This isn't a corner of the internet. This isn't a quirk. This guy is not an outlier. This guy is merely responding to the content that's put on his cable TV. There are hours and hours of daily programming across Fox News and Newsmax and other such sites online like Breitbart and others that justify this guy's actions in his world, that white people are at threat of being replaced, and as a defender of his race, it's upon him to combat and target the enemy opponent. And it's just horrendous.
And unfortunately, that's the dark result of what's been going on in this world as it becomes more quote unquote woke, and the post George Floyd era, where there has apparently been an awakening from every corner of society, the corporations and so on and so forth. The reality is that as much as the reaction to George Floyd has been positive, you've seen many proactive organizations. Well, they're all reactive in nature, but many have been proactive within that reactiveness, so to speak, by making immediate changes in the areas that we wish to see. But to your point, the reality is that, like, if you really scratch beneath the surface, there is, and we spoke about this, we debated about it when Tommy was on here, there is an army, a group of people who genuinely feel under threat. And I'll be honest, like, you man know me, I do a lot, like, within the black society, like, especially at work, and trying to lobby and trying to have people listen to the agenda and some of the issues and some of the main focuses that we want eyes and resource behind. I begin to feel now that I'm on a bit of a timer. We are on a bit of a timer.
In what sense?
In the sense that we had our moment post George Floyd, around a time where everyone was doing like black squares and so on and so forth. But it feels like people are trying to steer away from this conversation now because they're just tired, bruv. And
or they don't want to confront it, or the momentum's moved somewhere else?
The momentum is moving somewhere else. And that's a horrible feeling, because we haven't really, in the grand scheme of things, achieved much, because we haven't really had enough time. Like, the changes that need to take place are generational changes. So that's the scary thing, what you just said. This feeling that for a period of time, it would appear that black people for once were humanized. But it would appear now, as we go into 2023 and beyond, that we're going back to the dark eras of just being dehumanized and our lives not meaning anything anymore. And it's scary as fuck, man. I'm not going to lie. It's scary as fuck. There's nothing that you really can do to stop that train. Especially when you see things like this and then you see people on Facebook fucking joking about it. Do you know what I mean? It's scary hours. And look, horrible first topic to have to start with, but yeah, I just want to send condolences and well wishes to everybody, and prayers to everybody that were involved. I think if you wish to donate to help, make sure you don't donate to Black Lives Matter in the US.
Oh, they're getting flights.
Because you may find out that they are allocating your funds in ways that facilitate their own enjoyment.
And a lot of enjoyment too.
Do your research. We might come back to that later if we got a bit of time, but do your research on the owners or the founders or the active members of Black Lives Matter. It will make a great deal more sense now why some of your favorite people in this world may have not wanted to support that organization from the beginning.
Yeah, and you know, something I've always said, what my dad used to say, un país tiene el gobierno que se merece. A country gets the government it deserves. And this is kind of the test of the theory. Like, people do not deserve this. Black people don't deserve this. Black people also don't deserve to only be humanized in trauma, right?
Yeah.
So it goes back to that window of opportunity you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like, there was such public attention on grief of black people, and for that moment the media humanized black people, and that was suddenly, actually, it wasn't all right to say these things. And yeah, it's interesting you feel that window is disappearing.
Yeah, it's palpable. It's very palpable. There are a lot of, I hate the word, but there are a lot of agendas at the moment. You know, if I'm being real, before black people and ethnic minorities agenda was the focus, it was women, and it was mainly white women, right? So let's not be under any illusion. The world focuses on certain things at once, you know what I mean? Or they focus on one thing at a time, I should say. The reality is that intersectionality has always been needed. Attacking all of these things and approaching all of these things at the same time was always needed. But the reality is that, like, the world isn't ready for that. And I feel like at some point, and the scary part of it is that I feel like at some point they got tired, and that's scary. But yeah, as I said, condolences to everybody involved. Justice will be served. Hopefully this guy doesn't get off due to some sort of mental health, COVID, lockdown, despair type related reason.
Hopefully he gets dropped in the middle of a yard of a deeply ethnically integrated prison. And he can get
thrown in Rikers or some shit.
Some serious justice.
But yeah. All right, moving on. We are going to talk about your monies.
Oh. What's left of it?
We are going to talk about your monies.
Crypto boys.
Crypto boys.
Come outside.
Where are you at?
Come outside.
In fact, 1 second.
Hello?
Big Pack.
Yes,
This
Rich.
is Abiade from This Could End Terribly podcast. Wagwan.
What's going on, bro? How are you, man?
I'm good, bro. How are you, man?
I'm blessed, bro. I feel honored to be on the podcast, man.
Energy.
Come on, bro.
Energy.
Come on, bro. How are things, man? How are things?
Not bad.
Yeah,
not
you
bad,
been
bro,
all
not
right?
bad.
Yeah,
I've been good. I've been blessed.
Been crazy
Busy,
out here
but
for the-
busy's good.
Amen.
Yeah, it's been crazy
You
out
know?
here for you crypto boys, man. What's been
It's been
going
mad.
on?
It's been mad. It's one of these things, like in the crypto space. It's like everyone sort of forgets, about all the good times when you were doing 30% month for month.
Oh, talk
when
about
you
it.
get when you get when you
Numbers.
get when you get to the blood, that's when everyone starts like, do you know what I mean? That's when everyone's pranking out, forgetting about all the good times, and now it's all about this. But it's the name of the game, man. It comes with the space, you know what I mean?
Pack, basically what you're trying to say is all the hoes were around you when you were in the green, and then when you went into the red for a couple days, they disappeared and went for the ballers. Is that what you're saying?
Moving lonely.
Nah, never, man. You know what's always
For our listeners,
pattern, bro. We're always patterned.
100%. For our listeners' benefit, Big Pack Packham is my ex-colleague, and he dived into the deep end. He left the day job and was like, I'm taking a bet on myself. A day trader specializing in the crypto markets. And the reason why we are calling this fine young gentleman is because the crypto markets took a bit of a bruising last week. First of all, bruv, like, is everybody, you all right? You feeding the kids? Like, you keeping the
do you
lights?
know what was crazy?
You keeping the lights on, yeah?
I was, you know what's crazy? I was on holiday when it was all happening.
Oh, shit.
And I remember, because I remember like at the start of holiday, like I put in, like all the risk parameters I needed
Hold on,
to do.
sorry.
And I was like, I don't really want to.
I got interrupted this. I had to ask, where on holiday were you?
Oh yeah, I was in the Seychelles, bro. It was lovely, man.
My country.
Yeah.
My country.
Oh, wow.
Oh, is that your country, Johnny?
Yeah. That's my family
way.
are from. Where in the Seychelles were you?
We just stayed in the main island, Mahe.
Oh, Mahe. Yeah. Okay, we're up in Bel Air in the north.
We stayed in the resort in Mahe. It was lovely, man. Did some diving.
Beautiful. Shout out Os Royale. That's my family down there. Shout out La Digue, where I went to school.
Bro,
thing is,
Johnny,
I
did get to go there.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Johnny's from everywhere, bro. It's annoying. I'm not gonna lie. Johnny is from everywhere. Like, oh, you in India? Yeah, shout out my family and fam.
He's global, citizen of the world.
Certain men are local,
needs
certain
to
men are
relax.
global, bruv.
But yeah, so you were on holiday and you weren't watching your portfolio.
Yeah, so I wasn't really like at the start. I kind of put stuff in and whatnot, and then
The Wi-Fi is
holiday, I was
dead
kind
in
of like,
Seychelles. as
Wi-Fi
well.
is dead.
Dead. There's no Wi-Fi out there. Cable and wireless.
Also, like it's only 4 hours away, but it kind of messes up with how you normally do things.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have set times that I'll normally check things out, and now I'm like, 4 hours ahead. I'm trying to figure out what time is it in the States, what time is it in London. I'm just like, it's all too much, man. Let me just enjoy myself. And then I remember like I was coming, and then obviously I saw it at one point. I think it was the Friday. I saw the mad correction. But the thing with that as well is I had like orders that I placed like months ago, and they finally got filled. So it's a kind of like, you're kind of nervous because you're like, you're getting filled, like whilst the market's going against you. But at the same time, you're like, I've been waiting for, to kind of buy on some sort of a correction. So, and then came back and then saw the other stuff that had been happening with terror and all of that. And it was a bit like, whoa. Yeah. So it wasn't really until I got home that I realized, okay, it's been a crazy week.
Yeah,
like
the market's
really like...
The market's basically lost like 99% of its value as a result of this, like Terra Luna coin thing.
Yeah.
Like, break it down. Like, what happened? What the fuck happened?
So do you know like the different types of stable coins that are on crypto and how they work?
Go from the beginning.
Yeah, break it down for the layman's like me.
Okay, cool. So obviously with cryptocurrencies, you have the currencies like Bitcoin that are quoted against the dollar and they're crazy volatile, right? Their prices move against the dollars. But then you have also stablecoin, and the whole purpose of stablecoin is having a cryptocurrency still. So it will still be like built on Ethereum or whatever other cryptocurrency network, but it's pegged to the dollar. Right. So it's supposed to kind of ease the volatility on your portfolio. So like, for example, when I don't have, when I'm not holding cryptocurrencies in my portfolio, I don't hold necessarily like cash, physical cash. It'll be USDT, right, which is which is a cryptocurrency that's pegged to the dollar on a one-for-one basis. Now, with these stable coins, there's different kind of stability mechanisms they use to peg that valuation. And so it could be like with Tether, which is probably the largest one, they actually collateralize all the USDT like holdings by like having physical cash, gold, commercial paper, whatever. And Terra Luna, they're these new types of stable coins, which are algorithmic stable coins. So the whole point of them is that instead of having, because it's a whole other conundrum, kind of having like a centralized institution like Tether backing a cryptocurrency, when the whole point of cryptocurrencies is supposed to be decentralization. So it's like a bit of an ironic kind of contradiction there. So you have these ones like Terra Luna that are trying to stay, true to the spirit of cryptocurrency and decentralization. So they're decentralized, and they keep their peg through these algorithms that kind of manage the supply of the US dollar cryptocurrency, and normally it will be pegged by another cryptocurrency. In this case, it was Luna. So the algorithm is constantly managing the supply of Luna and UST by people who are redeeming Luna for UST at different times to kind of keep that peg, Right. So I guess in this instance, what happened was there was essentially what would in sort of classical terms be a run on the bank. A lot of people withdrawing their UST from Luna's sort of system, redeeming them to Luna, selling the Luna to kind of cash in, so to speak, and there was too much of that going on, and so the actual algorithm wasn't able to keep up with the level of supply, and it lost its peg in that sense.
So it came crashing down.
It crashed down precisely because of that. It just couldn't keep up with the demand that people wanted for UST. So once a lot of people were withdrawing UST, it couldn't mint enough Luna to kind of keep that peg. So then, because the two are obviously linked, people are selling Luna. There's not enough Luna in circulation to keep the peg, so it loses its one-for-one dollar peg. I think it went down to like 30 cents or something. So that came crashing. And obviously they haven't organized it. And it's funny because it happened right at the same time as well that Bitcoin crashed quite a bit. And these guys, the guys who back Luna, they have like, part of their attempt to kind of stabilize that peg, they tried to do by selling off quite a bit of Bitcoin. So I guess that added more downward sales pressure on Bitcoin as well. So it's weird because it's kind of like, the point of cryptocurrencies is kind of a trustless system, right? But, I think what these events show is that it's not quite where it should be on that basis, and that it still has these frailties that doesn't make it like a fully like reliable system yet. You know what I mean? 100%. So it's got a way to go.
I know you're a happily taken man, but we have a very strong female audience, and they all want to know, are you still a millionaire? And if so, can I throw them your Instagram, your IG, and like, because
No, I mean, look, do you know what it is? I feel like everyone who holds Bitcoin spot is bleeding at the moment. Like, you can't not be. You know what I mean? You're bleeding. It's all just like relative as well. Do you know what I mean? Because the thing is, if you had taken partial profits along the way up, you still have some ammunition to use on these occasions, right? So in that sense, man.
So
but the portfolio's nowhere near as high as it was last year.
I hear you.
But still, you know what I mean?
We're still in the green, baby.
We're still in the green.
Good. Amen. We thank God.
Because the thing is, well, Rich, I feel like a lot of people misunderstand the time horizons that Bitcoin operates on as well.
Right.
Like, really and truly, like Bitcoin, like if you're like a long-term investor in a crypto space, and you're looking at, Bitcoin as your main sort of investment, so forget all the altcoins, really you should be looking at things on like a 4-year, 10-year cycle. Like 4 years is like short term for Bitcoin, because it operates really like all of Bitcoin cycles are around the kind of the halving cycles of Bitcoin.
Right.
And that's what normally has this like massive effect on how the price of Bitcoin moves. So
is this a thing where like, I mean, obviously this is not financial advice, but is this a thing where you would advise people, if you were advising, to buy the dip, or do you still think that there's more of a bottom to come?
Yeah, no, I definitely think there's still more of a bottom to come. I think if you've kind of been on the sidelines for quite a long time, you probably are better off starting to buy some now incrementally,
right,
as opposed to like last year when we were on the way up.
Yeah.
You're essentially Bitcoin. You're better off buying that, averaging, whilst the price is going down, as opposed to accumulating on the way up. But just like on the point of the 4-year cycle thing, because basically every 4 years, the kind of rewards for every new block minted on the Bitcoin blockchain is reduced by 50%, right? So really, if you wanted to be as risk averse as you could, I would wait until the next halving cycle, which is 2 years from now, and basically start putting P's in just after that halving takes place. Because like when you look, because basically there's been like 3 halvings, and literally it's always been halvings happened, then the price has skyrocketed. And that's obviously because the scarcity of Bitcoin's increased by that, right? By half, quite a lot. So I still think, because also you have to kind of place what's happened in a wider context, like what's been happening with interest rates tightening, the kind of money supply and making investors kind of look for more less riskier assets, so to speak. And that's something that's going to happen for a while.
So I have a couple questions, right?
Go on, bro.
First one is, so people who know me know that I've basically been a bullshit caller on crypto as an industry for a long time. I had a little fiddle October, November last year as we were running up towards the peak.
Johnny's a big hypocrite, by the way. He'll tell you something shit, then he'll go and buy it.
Yeah, I did that. I was in Miami for NFT Basel.
I was doing up coins, bro.
I was watching the Lambos drive around there. Them man are now getting jobs in escorts. Don't worry about that. But like, so on the wider point, like, Bitcoin is essentially linked to the size of the Federal Reserve balance sheet. They're going into quantitative tightening. It makes sense that some of this stuff all comes off the highs. So from a macro perspective, I mean, Sam Bankman-Fried came out this week, the CEO of FTX, and said he doesn't ever see Bitcoin being adopted as a currency, so to speak. It may have some use as a store of value more akin to gold, but it will never be adopted as a currency, just fundamentally because the technology isn't efficient enough and the environmental costs are too punitive. But I think that there is some space for Bitcoin as an asset going forward, right? But all the other stable coins, right? Stuff like Tether or Luna or other stable coins, even to an extent, stuff like Ethereum has a use within the crypto world itself. So maybe remove that one. But the vast majority of so-called stable, before we like even get into shit coins and meme coins, right? I am yet to find anyone who will explain to me clearly and lucidly why they're not all just enormous Ponzi schemes. Right? To me, it seems like they're all enormous Ponzi schemes. Bitcoin, which is the market standard,
good luck with that question, Pac.
Will never be used as a currency, and I kind of agree with that. But even to the extent that global central banks are developing their own digital currencies. So even if we do move to a world where we pay for stuff with the digital currency, the ECB is going to issue a digital euro. The Bank of England's working on digital sterling. The Fed's doing a dollar one. Explain to me why, right? All these fucking stable coins, which basically only go up if more people put cash in, aren't Ponzi schemes. Because to me, that is the definition of a Ponzi scheme. As long as people put in, it goes up. But when they don't, it drops.
Yeah. So I think like there's the stable coins. That's one thing. And then there are the altcoins, which are basically all the other cryptocurrencies besides Bitcoin.
Right.
With the stable coins, they're not a speculative asset at all. Like the purpose of stable coins is just having that stability in price, reducing that volatility. Like they're not supposed to be seen as a speculative.
What's the utility of any of these coins? What's the utility?
The utility just lies in the fact that it's an asset which has the same value as cash, but which doesn't have to, because you have to remember that, the whole cryptocurrencies movement is as much a philosophical movement as it is a financial speculative one. There's a lot of people who are disenfranchised from the financial system as it stands. And obviously for you and I, it could be easy enough to open a bank account wherever and whatever other currency we want it in. But for some, having the ability to have the equivalent value of $2, knowing that that's not going to fluctuate in value on your phone and being able to send that to anyone very easily is kind of, that's the kind of utility, so to speak. Do you see what I mean? So stable coins, they're not supposed to be speculative. I think if anything, what we have seen over the last week with UST is something which highlights the importance of having some mechanism to ensure that the stability of the stable coins can be guaranteed by whoever's like, overseeing that stable coin. And I think that's like a very important conversation when we speak of like regulations within the cryptocurrency space. Kind of ensure it's like a bank. That if at any moment you go to the bank to withdraw cash, it will be there. And I think that same assurance needs to exist for stablecoins. And it could well be that a centralized institution like the European Central Bank or whatever ends up being the biggest issue of stablecoins. But I think that stablecoins, one side, they're not speculative. They're not supposed to be speculative. With the altcoins, on the other hand, I think I'm definitely in agreement with you about the majority of altcoins being Ponzi schemes. That I agree with, because the thing is, you have to remember that the stage we're at in the blockchain and cryptocurrency cycle is still a very early and young one.
Yeah.
And in any kind of early stage of human innovation, there's always space for exploitation, always, And I think it's the case with this as well, in a sense that there's projects that are being developed and being created, and literally someone will just stick a cryptocurrency, because anyone can make any kind of cryptocurrency. Like, it's not anything difficult to do. But essentially, you'll just get a company or a group of programmers, developers, whatever. They launch a project, launch a website, slap this cryptocurrency on the project. And in reality, it could be a solution that has no need for cryptocurrency. It can operate, fine without, maybe it doesn't need blockchain, but it can have a different kind of blockchain, but doesn't need its own currency. Yeah. And then what they then do is they drive up the value of that cryptocurrency by speculation on how good the project is, when in reality, there isn't that much of correlation between anything the project does or the value of the cryptocurrency. And we see that often actually where you get, all these pump and dump schemes where there's like the semblance of a project that's going to be so sick or whatever, and then they create this cryptocurrency. It doesn't really have much use. You buy it on the speculative hope that it's going to go up in value, but then you look beneath the point and you're like, this company ain't shit. Do you know what I mean? And I think
I invested in an OFB coin. OFB, like Heady One and them, man. They launched a coin in it. I invested in that.
It.
That's 500 quid I'm never gonna see again, rude boy.
No way, Rich. You did that. That is so funny.
Oh, man, I got fleeced.
That's a bit of a sticky one still.
It's a sticky one still.
But this is what I mean. It's like you can have a record label, but you need a coin behind it. Yeah. And I think actually these kind of corrections, they're really important because it filters out these kind of shit coins. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
So last question,
Go on, bro.
before I let you off on this wonderful Friday evening. What do you think is the future for Bitcoin in terms of regulation? And do you think this crash is going to have regulators come in and use this as an opportunity to push an agenda?
Yeah. Honestly, the answer to this question is I don't know, man. Because this regulation chat, like I don't know if it's always like, spoken of sincerely in a perspective of, regulate for the sake of like protecting consumers.
People.
Or if it's kind of like a bit of like, because the thing is, this stuff could be so revolutionary. It could be so revolutionary that it can like literally upend the current financial system as we know it. So I don't know whether it's for the former, protecting people, it's a kind of like scared, like, we need to do something to tame this beast. So, or it could be that, once it gets to a point where they feel like, Bitcoin's gone down too much, it's not that important anymore, it was just a fad, and so therefore, whatever. You get what I mean? But I definitely think that the sort of regulatory questions are more important and also I think clearer to kind of speak about when you have on the ethical side kind of advertising standards, not misleading people. Maybe the exchanges, the obligations that they have. Like I think recently, I think it was Coinbase, obviously because they hold the coins on custody for people. I think they came out saying something about, I can't remember exactly what, but something to do with how much of their assets are collateralized or how much of the customer's assets are protected. All these things are unregulated. I feel like the whole ecosystem and the structure is what needs some kind of better framework. But to be honest, bro, honestly, man, these crashes, they've happened so many times in Bitcoin's history.
No, I hear that.
Like, so many
Oi,
times. So,
but big up,
it is
bro.
what it is,
yeah,
man.
100%, bro. Keep making that money, bro.
Amen.
I know Johnny's always going to be the guy who shits on it, but still invests in it. So don't mind him. Do not mind him. He's a silly boy. He's a silly boy. Yeah, I'm still going to come to the Packham School of Bitcoin when I'm ready to invest in this
Say
thing.
no more,
right
bro.
now, I'm just
I got you,
right now, I'm sort of just like bigging up myself a little bit for not investing in this thing that would have lost me a hell of a lot of money in these last couple of weeks.
I'll be there. I'll be there when Bitcoin gets to 10K.
But the caveat of what I just said is, boy, if you look at my equities portfolio right now, I have lost a shit ton, bro.
Starving.
So
Yes,
it
everywhere,
ain't safe on the block for any investor right now.
But
bruv, oi, thank you very much. I'll obviously put you up on the description, and that's so people can holler. Big up yourself, bro. Love, bro, and we'll speak to you in a bit.
Love my guy.
All right, in a bit.
Man. Thanks for having me. Take
No
care.
worries,
Take
bro.
care,
Big
boys.
up.
Love.
And you are still disputing with the expert.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if anything, like this market move, I agree, wholly justified, necessary, to an extent, healthy, even though people who can't afford this thing have been absolutely taken out. And this is kind of my gripe with the crypto market. One is that my overarching view from like a wider viewpoint is that crypto to me is essentially like the dot-com bubble of 2000, right?
Okay.
And 99.9% of companies were total bollocks. And we're now at that same point, or we're near that inflection point, that hinge point in the crypto space.
But you will still enter and scalp.
Certain ones will be worth getting into, yeah, because
you.
like the 0.1% of companies that survived the dot-com
But you
bust
was investing in
went huge.
some dirty coins.
Yeah,
like some
because it was on the way
anythings.
up. It was on the way. That's what you do. You take profits, and you buy the rumor, you sell the fact, right?
Alright.
That's what you do. But
Bet.
the thing I don't like about crypto is one that 99.9% I believe is Ponzi schemes and requires people to get in. But the thing that's most insidious about that is that unlike any other market, to an extent that's not seen in any other market, the participants of crypto are retail. They're retail investors. They're not professional investors. They're not huge investment firms. They're people who are putting their cash, their mum's mortgage money.
The majority, you mean?
Yeah,
But there's huge institutional investment in crypto.
Oh, sure there is.
Yeah.
Sure there is. There's people who can afford to lose
it's
money.
not just retail.
People who can afford to lose money are losing money, and that's fine. But the point is that there are an outsized number of people in crypto who can't afford to lose money, who are being fleeced by something they're being sold to as legit by celebrities and Super Bowl adverts. And when they lose their money, there's absolutely no protection for them.
Just need to reiterate that none of what you've just heard is investment advice.
Yeah.
If you want to buy the dip, just keep me out of it. Don't mention our names. This could end terribly. Do not tell you to do anything with your cash.
This could end terribly for
Only
anyone who buys
invest
crypto.
what you can afford to lose. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
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 I pop the pain away, I slide the pain away, I pop the pain away, I slide the pain
why are you
away,
doing
I
it in
pop
a-
the pain away, I slide the pain away.
The Green Park Lincoln.
Yo, Kendrick
Park
has
voice.
the range. He has the range. Push these niggas off me like, huh.
Very weird.
Push these niggas off me like, huh.
Very, very weird.
Johnny,
What?
you out of
Oh,
pocket.
fuck off, bro.
Where are we going to next?
Just do the album. Just
Should
do
we
the fucking. That's all you've been
No.
doing is doing ad-libs.
We got to build it up. I want to talk about Boris Johnson, bruv. I want to talk about Boris Johnson.
Uncle
Boris
Boris.
Johnson.
Uncle Boris.
Uncle Boris. Boris Johnson has said he wants to get people, millions of people, of workers back to the office because he doesn't think that working from home works.
He would know. Nobody's had more shubs at home.
What was it?
Than men like Boris.
Was it 150 fines in the end? that
Yeah,
they got, or some
but
shit?
none to them, man. All to the juniors. All the junior civil servants caught major L's.
They took the fucking.
And then they're going to get chopped anyway because they're going to cut the civil servant. Don't let me get too political. 'Cause it's
Yeah.
really bleak.
So Boris is taking a swipe at working from home culture, saying he believes in the workplace environment.
Wine and cheese and them things.
Exactly. He has claimed people are more productive,
they
more
are.
energetic,
Oh, they are.
more full of ideas.
Oh, they are,
when
yeah.
surrounded by their colleagues and full offices help revive town centres.
That's demonstrably untrue. But anyway, carry on.
And then he gave us an insight into his own productivity levels
Right.
while he works from home. And he said it involved a lot of walking very slowly to the fridge, Man, does he look like he walks slowly to the fridge?
But is this guy not busy, bro? You run a country, fam.
And forgetting what you were supposed to be doing. Yo, our Prime Minister is bantering, man.
This
He
idiot.
is bantering us all.
This
and you
idiot.
lot are taking it for... we are all dickheads, bruv, in this here UK. We are dickheads, bruv.
This one's an example of un país tiene gobierno que se merece.
Let me just repeat. He said he's giving us an insight into his own productivity levels at home.
Yeah.
He said it involves
You might vote for him.
slow walking to the fridge
Yeah,
and
landslide.
forgetting what he is supposed to be doing.
80 seat majority.
It's a fucking piss take,
man
bruv.
gave him that.
Why is he talking to us like we're mugs, bruv?
Because we are mugs. We are mugs, and the majority of this country will continue to vote Conservative. Shout out Keir Starmer for failing to provide opposition. But this is what I mean. All right, no, we'll get serious. Like, I'm sure that a few of the Conservative Party donors who are long commercial real estate have probably had a word. And that's likely why. Uncle Dom Cummings, the regent prince of Twitter, has been making the point.
Is he active on there?
Oh, what?
For real?
Are you mad?
I'm not there.
It's the single best account. Second to Donald Trump.
Oh.
Dominic Cummings is the second best account on Twitter.
Swear down.
But basically,
Little
he reckons...
cabbage head.
He reckons, like, awful hairline, but he reckons that where this is coming from is because Boris is being pressured, not just by newspaper editors, but by newspaper proprietors. Serious institutional money wants people back in offices because they're paying a shit ton of cash on long-term contracts for commercial real estate rent. And not having people concentrated is impacting these businesses, as it's also likely impacting the money that's generated by commuter train services, private franchises, et cetera, et cetera. The idea that everyone should all commute to the same place that benefits town centres as an argument is demonstrable in its fallacy.
And for balance, like, just so we keep it a buck with our listeners, this is two people who actually enjoy being in the office /
100.
kind of have to be
Yeah.
in the office
Yeah.
for the majority of the
Yeah.
time. I've got a 3. What's your official policy where you work?
5 days a week.
5 days a week
Yeah,
in
yeah.
office. I've got a 3-day a week in
Okay.
the office, but it usually ends up being 4.
Well, I have 6
but-
screens. I have to be in the office because I can't trade from home.
Yeah, exactly. So you trade, so it's different. You need more powerful machines.
proper
you
Wi-Fi.
need more screens,
Yeah,
etc.
yeah,
You need stability and all that stuff. For me, it's more of a collaboration. So this whole thing that he's saying actually applies to my organization. My organization is an example of where, the culture of collaboration and learning by osmosis.
That's bullshit. Certain man just spent £1 billion in a building. That's why they want people in it.
Yeah, 100%.
But listen, this idea.
for balance, we are saying it as people who have to be in the office. So we're not taking it from a one-sided,
Yeah, it's not as if we work from home zealots. We don't get to do it, right? But this idea that it's good for the local economies to have people back in offices, that's such obvious bollocks. Such obvious bollocks. One, because like these local economies that have had people coming to them for years and years and years, those businesses have got good amounts of cash, and even the small businesses still have a reasonable cash flow coming in, even if it is marginally less. So a reasonable amount of cash flow from people who do flexi work, right? So the people who are doing 3 days a week will still go and have lunch at these small businesses, and will go and get coffees at the small independent coffee shops. But what the work from home balance does is actually supportive of what is purportedly a key cornerstone of Conservative policy, which is to regenerate the high street. People working from home means that people are shopping local. People are going to local cafes. People are going to local restaurants, and they're going to their local shops in their commuter towns.
Support local.
Yeah, but people are supporting local when they can work from home.
Yeah.
When they can work from home,
As
right?
they should.
As they should. If you force people to go back into the office, then all of these local businesses
Costas.
in commuter towns where people live, they're going to lose all of their custom because nobody's going to be around during working or during daytime hours, right? So if the genuine desire of the Conservative government, which obviously isn't, is to spread the economic activity and economic wealth across a wider geographic area, then you would support people working from home because it means that more people spend more time in more space.
This motherfucker is attacking them from both ends. We're literally living in a quote unquote cost of living crisis where he refuses to implement like windfall taxes on these energy companies, refuses to subsidize our energy costs. Every single motherfucking thing is going up in price. We've just had inflation increase. All of that shit is happening right now. And he is still trying to say to you, get out of your house, spend more money on your commute, on your lunch. The cost of everything is going up, but maybe, as these ministers said, maybe you should get a better paid job,
Just
or
earn
maybe
more.
you should just earn more or
just
work
earn
more hours.
I just want to give
It's
a
a
shout
mazza,
out.
bruv.
I just want to give a shout out to my good friend Rishi Sunak. Mazel tov to him. He
222nd richest
He today made the rich list.
family
Mashallah.
in
Mazel tov.
the world.
Yeah, made the rich list in the UK.
Oh, is it UK?
It's the UK rich list.
What, 730 million? Is that 200?
She's worth 622 million, and he's worth a bit more.
All right, cool, UK.
But yeah, Mazel tov. So, like, if you were concerned that the people in charge don't understand the common man, like, don't worry. The bloke who runs the economy is worth nearly £1 billion. He's highly relatable. So, I don't know. What is there to say? These people are mockers.
So, I mean, the question I was actually going to ask before we move on from this is, do you think, and I guess this is the real debate, this is what people really want to know, do you think that this hybrid working thing is just a momentary phase? Do you think we're eventually, let's say in a year, 2 years' time, going to be back to everybody 5 days a week?
Yeah, I think we are.
100%.
I think we are. Yeah, it will be a bygone memory, and all this like anti-work from home propaganda is going to come thicker and faster as people start taking losses on these commercial property portfolios. Like, it's bullshit, man.
Do you
like,
think the compromise might be a 4-day week?
I mean, I'm very pro a 4-day week. We had this conversation with shout out a man like Henry on episode 40 about the benefits to productivity. The point that I was about to get onto is like, basically, like, fuck capitalism, bro. You people have been stealing our surplus labor value for fucking years. Like, if I want to take a nap because I'm working from home, fuck you. Like, if I want to have my lunchtime rub, fuck you. Like,
Rub or
tug.
Okay.
Rub, tug. It's terminology in it, right?
Cool.
You people have been stealing my surplus labor value for years. It's about time I fucking got some back. Like, we're not at the bank. The governor of the Bank of England said that we shouldn't be asking for pay rises.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm not allowed to have a pay rise, I'm gonna have a lunchtime wank.
I'm taking a 3-hour lunch and it might involve a tug. I shouldn't have said that. I got listeners who know some of my activity or what I should be doing.
Fuck that. Work from home is good for many reasons, right? And before we get to the idea of a 4-day week, which will never happen in this country, working from home is good for many reasons. It's better for workers. It reduces the cost. In these hard times of cost of living, it reduces the cost of the commute. It helps to regenerate local areas. It drives businesses back to local areas. It benefits small businesses. It reduces the stress it allows of people having to wake up earlier and sleep less. It means that people can spend more time with their families. It means kids can be better looked after. People are closer to the schools where their children are attending. And like, whatever, man. Like, if someone goes for a jog at lunchtime, who gives a shit?
Why don't you think the 4-day week will come here?
Because the idea, because capitalism requires its units of productivity to be as productive for as long as possible.
But
right?
is that linked to the amount of days?
Yeah, it is. Like, if we didn't already have regulation in place to ensure 2 days of a weekend, they would have us working 7 days a week, right? Like, if you run a business, then you would want your staff being available every day. It's only because we used to have organized labor and strong unions in this country that we've even negotiated. We've even negotiated things like paid leave and days off.
We need that French model, that 35 hours a week model, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that would be good. What we need is we need good, strong British labor unions back. We need collective bargaining.
Johnny and his fucking union.
Join a union every week.
Join a fucking... I agree with you, but I just like taking a piss.
Yeah, anyway. I know you do. But join a union. And 4-day week... we all know it'll be better for productivity.
I'm in agreement, right? I think it's only a matter of time before you, at your place of employment, are appraised or evaluated in comparison to your peers, and one of the metrics will be, well, Josie works in the office 90% of the time, and John works in the office 67% of the time. I wonder who's giving us more value. It's definitely going to come. And that's how they're going to finesse people back into the office over time. They're going to essentially metricize it. And managers are going to be encouraged to be a bit more, I mean, subtly, in a way that doesn't make them liable in HR terms, but they're subtly going to make hints over the course of the next 18 months as to why those who are in the office are doing significantly better.
And I think, but I do think that, like, eventually... If there's maybe one benefit of the free market, is at least at the top end, companies who force people back to work will start losing talent. I know of a friend of mine who essentially won't take a job that requires her to be in the office. She just won't even interview. She's very good at her job. She's got a niche.
She's out of pocket.
She's actually very in pocket in the data space. And because she's so good, she can demand that she doesn't do that, right? And I was having a debate with a few people about at the top end. It's a very privileged position to be, but people are now, post-pandemic, prioritizing time over additional money, right? And you can see Goldman Sachs this week, for example, have given their senior executives, MDs and partners, unlimited annual leave, right? Ooh. And this is a drive towards non-monetary rewards because people are demanding their time back. And part of demanding people's time back is stuff like working from home, or the flexibility to work from home. So at least at the top end of the market, maybe this will start to feed in where people have the bargaining power. So it goes back to the point of joining a union, because your bargaining power is exponentially increased by collective form. And so join a union, bargain for working from home, bargain for a 4-day week, fuck the Tories, fuck Keir Starmer.
When we spoke about when Ukraine initially got invaded, we were speaking about how this shit could escalate. We were, you mentioned some dude, some guy from Finland, some sort of shooter.
Yes.
What's his name again?
I can Google it. I've forgotten his name.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. But
Finnish is a very tough language. What was the guy's name?
I don't know. But either way, I think we might need
Simo Haya.
When was he from? Is he dead?
Oh, he's dead.
Is he long gone?
He died in 2002.
I bet we might need him
back.
We might need the battalion back.
Yeah, or his grandson or the granddaughter.
Yeah, we need the family in here because, and I feared this day would come. Sweden and Finland will formally submit simultaneous requests to join NATO this week. The Swedish Prime Minister Magdalena Andersson has said, in a seismic shift in Europe's security architecture after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and has agreed to do this in conjunction with the Finnish president, who is...
Isn't she the one that got battered and didn't pick up her phone?
She pang, bro.
Yeah, she's sick.
I think she's young as well. I think she's like mid-30s.
Yeah, she went out on a night out, got lit, and then her phone ran out of battery.
Shout out her.
She's gang.
Gang. So the issue before, as this was proposed, was that Russia were basically saying, hey, yo, Finland, don't even think about it.
Niet to them, man, innit? Don't try it.
Don't even think about it. If we feel like you are trying to do a thing, we will come and fuck up your life. We will come and do it. Finland, to their credit,
they went, good luck.
They were like, come at me, bro. Come at me, bro.
We done run this film before.
And I've been reading quite a bit about Finland recently.
Okay. What have you
Fun
found?
fact about Finland is that over the last 50, 60 years post World War II, because of their 830-mile border with Russia, they have actually, in I think a relatively short space of time, managed to come up with enough bunkers to house more than the population of Helsinki.
Swear down.
So in the event that they were to be invaded, everybody's safe in Helsinki. I don't know how that applies to all of Finland, but basically the infrastructure and the architecture of most buildings in Finland accommodates what might happen if shit goes down, right? So people can go to the bottom of their building. There are these sports centers, swimming pools, which are essentially used as those things because, otherwise they're out of use. But in the event that things go down, are actually shelters. And they are nuclear proof.
Swear down.
Swear. So maybe that's why they don't give two fucks about any threats. And what's interesting about this is that Finland haven't been part of an alliance, a countrywide alliance like this since the Second World War. Sweden have not been in one for something like 2 centuries. And ultimately, all of the existing NATO countries have to agree for them to come on board, which is presenting a bit of an issue in itself because man like Erdogan out of Turkey is like...
Nah, fam.
My bro, seems like you've been friendly to the Kurds. Me not like it.
Can't have that run.
We can't have that.
Can't have that run.
So currently, Turkey have actually vetoed the whole thing because they are rejecting it. And I'm sure it's posturing. I'm sure it's...
They want cheap fighter jets from the US.
Yeah, with the Turkish election and all of this other stuff in mind. But this is happening. And what was initially people's worry is that Russia would respond badly to this. But what has happened... And I don't know if this is a result of what's been going on in Ukraine, but what has happened is the rhetoric has changed quite a bit. So whereas, Russia went from saying, bruv, don't try that thing, they're now kind of just like, all right, Okay, as long as we don't feel an initial threat from you, as long as we don't see any movement, anything that looks a bit dodge, do your thing.
I think that's just a mistranslation of the Russian expression for fuck around and find out. Which is what really concerns me. I mean, they're obviously not happy about it, right? They've promised to stop delivering gas to Finland.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, and like most of Finland's gas comes from Russia, although fortunately only like 10% of Finland's energy consumption is gas-based. But they've like cut off...
Another win for Scandinavia, the Nordics.
Yeah.
Another win.
Yeah, small problem is that they've also cut off the electricity supplies. They're not sending electricity to Finland either.
Oh, wow.
So clearly, Russia's
we
pissed.
don't have any Finns listening to this podcast right now.
Do we not? Did that not come
I'm
off
saying
our map?
if they switched off the electricity, they might not have the Wi-Fi. And they might
Not anymore. No, I'm sure they've got other sources. They've probably got like solar.
It's just
and
a
then
bad
things.
joke, Johnny. It was just a bad joke.
Yeah.
Bro.
Well, we're coming into summer. They're going to have like 23 hours of sunshine. They man should be blessed.
Yeah.
I mean, like, shout out, man, like Jussi Jääskeläinen, Antti Niemi, Premier League legends. And
Jari Litmanen, bro.
Jari Litmanen, the old school. I hope they're safe. But I think this is a unexpected outcome and a miscalculation to Putin in terms of the consequences of this Russian invasion. I think that we've spoken 100 times of the difference between the reality and what was reported to Putin in terms of how easy it would be to walk through Ukraine, at least walk through the Donbass, and then it set targets for the rest of Ukraine. But I don't think anyone saw Sweden and Finland joining NATO as a result.
With the quickness. With the quickness.
So both countries are going to meet and present their application to Jens Stoltenberg. This Turkish opposition, I don't take it seriously. Finland has recognised the PKK, the Kurdish Workers' Party, in the past, and that's why Erdogan's pretending to be upset. Really, I think he just wants cheap fighter jets to bomb the Kurds, and this is his way of getting America to give him cheap aircraft, which kind of understandable, really. Like if you represent your country, represent your people, you take every opportunity to get what you can to maximize your outcome. So I'm sure a deal will be done. It's more important to America to posture anti-Russian signaling than it is to give a few fucking cheap F-45s. What's next? Very hard to see. I mean, I think Russia's probably more concerned about what's happening down in Ukraine than any potential conflict up in the Arctic Circle. Who's really got a view of what the fuck's going to happen anymore? Like, apparently the defense of Mariupol has just about collapsed. Russia's probably going to take it. I think a deal will be done. As I said, way back in February, that the Western Ukraine gives up the Donbass to Russia.
Not Johnny, I told you so, Vivas.
Not me. But the West basically, if we want to stop this horrendous shelling of civilians, like that's just going to have to happen. And then, fuck knows, within a year or two, everything calms down. Like we'll get to a point basically where Ukraine is insufficiently able to export food to the rest of Europe that will cave. And our energy bills will become so expensive that we'll cave. So, yeah, is it significant? Yeah, like maybe it's significant to people who give a shit about foreign policy, but how many people actually give a shit about foreign policy? Like, it's just not that interesting beyond political nerds and Twitter.
I hear you.
So, like, whatever, Mazel Tov, you've joined NATO. Like, really, who gives a shit? Like, your energy bills and your food costs going up in Tesco's, there's a lot more important shit to worry about.
Yeah, no, I thought it was quite interesting, though. And I am on the edge of my seat. I think we all are. I've got some Swedish friends who are stressed the fuck out about this announcement.
Well, that's fine. I mean, you've got fucking like F-45s and the best of Lockheed Martin and BAE coming at you now, right? So like, bless, you're now protected by Americans. Mazel tov, you've made it. Well done.
Yeah. There's been quite a bit going on in the football world.
Boy, hasn't there just?
In the last couple of weeks. The big story.
Spurs beating Arsenal 3-0.
Yeah. Fuck Spurs, by the way. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, you kind of fucked it for Liverpool.
I'm going to have to tell you quickly, we took 6 points off City. We took 6 points off City.
Don't care.
It's up to you, man.
I don't care. But you took 2 points off us.
We took 4
points off us actually the whole season. So that's annoying.
We're winning the title next year.
By the time this comes out, we will know what's happened with Liverpool and Manchester City. Hopefully we can bag our 20th, but it's probably not.
Gerrard's going to cost you a second title.
It's rude. But the big story in football this week was, I mean, remarkable. Jake Daniels, 17 years old. You know the thing I love about this boy the most?
Go on.
17 years old. A man just bagged 30 goals for Blackpool in the league, bruv.
I think he bagged for the under-23s. I don't think he bagged for the first team in the Championship.
Oh shit!
It's a distinction with that. I'm basically being a dickhead, but like he didn't bag. He's
not like
no Mitrovic.
It's not like you. Either way,
He's no Dwight Gale.
bagged 30 goals for the under 23s at 17 years old. By the way, that's still big.
It's still very gang. Yeah.
And then decided he is going to take the world, literally the footballing world, on his very small shoulders by coming out in a statement that was released by Blackpool FC in conjunction with Stonewall. And he took himself down to Sky Sports, BBC, and all of the outlets to speak about how important it was that he does this, and the hero that he wants to be and the role model that he wants to be for people after him in a sport which has been notoriously at odds with anything that doesn't portray the male image as being heterosexual, machismo, and straight. It's the first time in about 30 years since Justin Fashanu
May God bless his soul. May his memory
came out, and obviously that ended very, very badly. Rest in peace, him.
Amen.
So it is huge. It is a huge, huge moment. Obviously, there's no doubt in any of our minds that there are footballers who are gay. Like, there's no way that that's not possible. We have had some footballers who have come out after they have retired, people like Thomas Hitzelsberger.
But that left foot was a madness.
Ridiculous.
You know?
They called him the Hammer, bruv.
We need the football podcast. We need to get that. We need because we can't do it on this one. We got
RT. And the support has been very, very loud and strong, coming from people like Rio Ferdinand, Thomas Hitzelsberger, who I just mentioned, and obviously everybody who saw his interview. So I don't really have much to say other than, man, Jake Daniels, man.
Set of bollocks on this lad.
Big the fuck up, bro. Like, your life, I would love to sit here and say that your life is going to be way easier as a result of what you've just done. The reality is that football stands, terraces are still filled with a lot of scumbags, right? So brace yourself for a lot of abuse. Brace yourself for some very, very backwards opponents who may try to get into your head to make you react while you're playing against them, to give themselves an edge. But all of that, hopefully, pales in significance to what you have done.
Amen.
I think it's an amazing, amazing achievement. We had a lad in the Australian League who also did a similar thing earlier this year, back end of last year. And it's a trend that I think we need to see, because I think the sporting world, more specifically the footballing world, is probably a bit of an uncharted terrain for these kinds of revelations. And I think that absolutely needs to change. Segue though.
Okay.
Because in Paris,
Jeez.
just to...
Are we dropping the football embargo?
Yeah.
Can we speak free for one episode?
But the good thing is that this is a social commentary.
Okay.
Tied in with football.
Please.
So this is our bag.
Continue.
There's a footballer who plays for Paris Saint-Germain.
What's his name?
Idrissa Gueye. Which is...
Ironic.
Quite ironic. And he apparently refused to play in a match to avoid wearing a rainbow symbol in support of LGBTQ plus rights. He used to play in the UK, in England, more specifically, for Aston Villa and Everton, and was allowed to miss this game. And his boss, Maurizio Pochettino, one of Johnny's gods, said he missed the game for personal reasons. Said he missed the game for personal reasons. And then the French league wrote to them to figure out or to find out why. I guess they suspected that this might not have necessarily been the most toward reason. He hasn't come out and made a statement, but what then happened is some of his teammates, his international teammates, he's from Senegal and plays for Senegal, a couple of them who are from the English leagues, Cheku Kouyaté, Ismail Assar, all posted in solidarity with him on social media, quoting things like, "You're a real man," and essentially sending love. And this has obviously caused a bit of problems. In the case of Ismail Assar, who plays for Watford, Watford reiterated their commitment to equality and diversity, adding that this includes the willingness to offer further education and support to any of its employees.
Ironically, the club of Elton John. Like, if you were going to pick...
There's mad ironies in this whole thing.
If you were going to pick a gayer club, you could not be gayer than Watford.
That's crazy what you just said. What we need to add for context as well is, and I guess this is the basis of my talking point, is that homosexuality is illegal in Senegal. And I believe that he is Muslim as well.
Yep.
And obviously I'm not Muslim, so I'm not going to start speaking on the Quran as a doctrine. But I know from experience that is also not necessarily viewed positively in that religion.
Certainly not encouraged.
Correct. And as it is illegal in Senegal, it's actually punishable by prison.
You get stoned for it,
Sentences
don't you?
up to 5 years. No, I don't think it's
you not?
stoning. It's also illegal in Qatar, which is where the owners of PSG are from. Now, clearly this is mad. This is obviously a mad story, and you know, we have a super positive story about a player coming out, followed by a super negative story about a player missing a game, so he didn't have to wear a rainbow flag on his shirt or whatever it may be. Can we, in the spirit of good debate, can we blame Idrissa Gueye for standing by or sticking to his gun, so to speak, with regards to his religious beliefs?
So
Is it fair for us to condemn him if all he is doing is respectfully bowing out, saying, I don't want to be publicly promoting something I am against, when he isn't necessarily harming people directly by doing it?
So this is bullshit, and Idrissa Gueye is a disgrace. And it's very simple. I understand why plenty of people are not comfortable with homosexuality. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with that point of view. It's not really your business who anyone's fucking or being fucked by. Let's just keep your business, mind your own manners. Idrissa Gueye, I think, is sullying the word of Islam and sullying the open nature of Muslims by pretending to hide behind his religion as justification for this homophobia. And the reason I make that quite a strong claim is because when my mum was playing for Villa and Everton in this country, he was sponsored on his kits, one at Everton by a sports betting company.
Oh shit.
Which is haram.
Johnny has come with receipts tonight.
And when he was playing at Villa, I believe they were sponsored by a beer, which is also haram. If this guy was a truly devout Muslim, to the extent that he observed all of the rules of the Quran in a Sharia fashion, he would not have been advertising gambling or alcohol.
Cool.
So the idea that he can't advertise homosexuality because of Islam is not genuine.
Question, then, a follow-up question. If it has nothing to do with religion, is he allowed to not believe in homosexuality and step away from a football game as a result?
So I believe he is entitled. I don't necessarily think that people should be homophobic, but I think he's entitled to be uncomfortable with it. And I think that if he doesn't want to promote, or if he doesn't want to do something that he believes is promoting homosexuality, which is a mad argument to make, but if he doesn't want to do something that he believes is promoting homosexuality, then as like a free speech advocate, he's not necessarily hating. He hasn't condemned people for being gay. He just said, I don't want to do it. The reason I take objection to this action is because the implication is that he doesn't want to do it because of his religion. And that's obviously bollocks, because he's promoted gambling and alcohol.
I mentioned the Muslim thing. That hasn't come from him or his party. I mentioned that.
No,
I said that might be an element.
It's been allowed to filter out.
But maybe that's
not
true.
These people have 4 PR machines. If they want to dispel these kinds of myths, they could do. I kind of like, if we go back to like the Wiley incident, right? Like, I get that Wiley just has a theory about Jews controlling the world or whatever, and like the guy's a stand-up anti-Semite. That's blessed. And I can take people being a stand-up. He's not the first stand-up anti-Semite. That's cool. I don't know what it's like being a black guy. Oh no, I'm sure it's like I'm sure it's like people who just don't like you for being black. You would want someone to be honest about why they don't like you.
So let me give you a likening. A likening to this for me is like when Marcus Alonso, the Chelsea left back, is the only person on the pitch who doesn't take a knee. I can't remember what his reasons were.
Him and Wolf Zaha.
Yeah, but I can't remember what his reasons are. But like, I genuinely don't care. When I see him not do it, I want him to lose. And I guess that's kind of what I feel like Idrissa Gueye is kind of missing out, right? He would have probably wanted people to take the knee in solidarity with the struggles that come with being a black person. And coming from a religion as beautiful as his, he needs to understand that with the LGBTQ plus community, there are also plights, there are also struggles, there are also stories. And which better way to exemplify the fact that your religion states that we are all equal, than to just fall in line with something like this. It doesn't necessarily mean you are gay, you want to be gay, you agree with everything gay, but it's a wider message that you understand the struggles that come with being gay, with being from that community. And that's where I think he needs to kind of go back to the drawing board or get a little bit more enlightenment, because it's just not a good look. And I feel like, I don't know. I guess I don't really know how this is gonna play out. I guess we'll find out with the league. I don't know if they're gonna be able to prove it, but it's a shame.
Listen, this is bullshit. You're a bigger, I'm a bigger. Everyone listens to this is a bigger. We're all bigots in our own way. Just be honest with your bigotry. Own your bigotry. Don't hide behind
I ain't no bigot.
a beautiful culture and a beautiful religion. Don't hide behind Islam for your homophobia.
I love everyone.
Right? You've been very comfortable promoting other haram activities. Don't pretend that it's Islam.
They just don't
if
like
you're going to
my
be a homophobe, be a homophobe. That's fine.
They just don't like my black ass.
And you would want someone to be honest that they don't like your black ass.
I don't want to know if you're racist. Please don't let it show. 'Cause my skin can't take it anymore. And if you're racist, please don't let it show. Oh, baby, I just want to know. I don't want to know.
No, you do want to know. It's the point. You do want to know.
I don't want to know.
No, you do want to know.
I kind of do want to know. Johnny, the king is back.
Oh, God. Just go off, bruv.
You out of pocket.
Please stop it.
Kendrick Lamar Duckworth.
That's a mad name, Duckworth.
Oklahoma.
What?
K. Dot
Is he Irish?
is back. 5th studio album.
Mid.
18 tracks.
Too many.
Double album.
Double album.
Production by Soundwave. Pharrell. Boy Wonder. Alchemist.
The greatest.
And I actually know somebody on this album.
Swear down.
Yeah.
Who?
Duval Timothy. Shout out Southeast London, baby.
Right, well, we're never going to shout out South London.
He's from a family of very talented musicians.
I swear.
And
isn't it bleak how some people just have it in the genes? Like,
it's crazy. I mean, I'll tell you his story another day, but he's amazing.
Can we get him on? Can we get him on the pod? Or is he too famous?
I mean, he's dropped off Instagram recently as well. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you're
that famous.
Shoulder bumping with greatness. Jeez. Kodak Black on narration. If you needed any further proof that this weird and wonderful rapper from Florida was a little legend in the making, he's been co-signed by all of the big artists now. He's a narrator on this thing.
Yeah, he's talent.
This guy approaches daddy issues, transsexuality in the family, social commentary on black people, our plight and how we approach our plight with each other, therapy, infidelity. He hits a completely different stratosphere lyrically and artistically. Me and Johnny are looking at each other without blinking while I say
I'm not
this.
allowed to interrupt, so just get it off your chest.
You can't interrupt. Let me get this off. This only it took 1,855 days in between last album and this one, buddy. That's how long we've been waiting.
Could have been more.
This man hits a peak every single time he comes out. Every time, Johnny. I am here to put it to you that when you speak about the upper echelons of rap, Kendrick Lamar needs to be in the conversation.
Well, like Biggie Tupac level.
Look, I ain't gonna go that far.
Well, that's upper echelon.
I mean, look,
that is upper echelon.
For me personally,
for
me, I'm not the biggest Tupac and Biggie fans, right, in the world, right? So for me, it's a completely different conversation. My gods are Andre 3000, Jay-Z, Black Thought, Lupe Fiasco, Kendrick.
Is Kendrick more significant to rap than Big L?
Are you gonna let me get my review off?
No, because I need that question answered
Big
first.
L, of course he's more significant to rap than Big L. What the fuck are you talking about? Big
I
L.
proper don't know why we're friends, bro.
What are you talking about?
What
Anyway.
139 and
Auntie
Lennox.
Diaries.
Oh my days.
Mother I Sober. Father Time with Sampha. We Cry Together. You hear that shit when they're fighting?
Yeah, that was lit.
You hear that shit?
That's the best track off the album.
Silent
when they're
Hill.
beefing. Yeah.
Push these niggas off me like,
No, don't do that. Please don't make eye contact with me when you do that. Please don't do that.
Are you happy for me? Are you happy for me? Smile in my face, but are you happy for me?
I'm not,
Baby
no.
Keem all over this thing. That's his second cousin, by the way, if you didn't know. And it's beautiful. This is a 21-year-old Grammy Award winner. And it's all part of that PG Lang family. And PG Lang is going to be the outlet of all of Kendrick Lamar's output going forward. This is his last album on TDE, and boy, oh boy, has he given them quite a run. The reason why I say this guy needs to be in the conversation, and I'm going to go on Rhymes Like Dime podcast tomorrow and say the exact same shit. I mean, they have to invite you. What can I say now? I'm going to say the exact same thing. When we talk about Kendrick Lamar, we need to talk about him being one of the greats to ever do it. This isn't even his greatest work. And obviously it's a week old. So it's ridiculous for me to even talk on these terms. But this guy hits a peak every single time he comes out. And it's a higher peak. We need to stop messing around, and we need to pay the necessary dues to this young god.
This album's mids.
From LA.
Mids album. Rate it out of 10. Give it a number. Give it a number out of 10. Go on.
This album is a 9 out of 10.
Jesus Christ.
It's a 9 out of 10.
You've been starred by shit like Donda. That's why I think this is good.
I have listened to this album inside out probably about 8-9 times.
Fucking hell, you must have a lot of free time.
It is a phenomenal album, while not even being his best. This is a guy who has given us about 3 10 out of 10s. So a 9 out of 10 is fine. You, however, have only just heard a sampler, and here you are about to chat shit.
It's got a beautiful voice.
Beautiful voice.
Beautiful voice.
Yeah.
Maybe the best thing about this album is introducing me to Sampler.
Early morning, wake up, practicing no day up, tough love, bottled up, no chaser me, no chaser me, no chaser. Can you hear my pipes?
You sound like Jamie XX singing.
He's a DJ.
He's
a DJ.
He's got tones.
You want to banish me to the fucking mountains because I don't feel like Big L's the be all and end all.
That's right.
Talking about Jamie X.
Okay. Not other than Big L. Is Kendrick Lamar more important to rap than Big Pun?
Yes.
Oh my days.
Of course, he's more important to hip hop.
Oh my days. Why are we friends?
Do you think Big Pun?
Don't like this guy,
Do you think
bruv.
Big Pun is like culturally significant to hip hop?
Yeah.
I think you're putting your bias and your love for Big Pun in front of the.
Are you not?
We're talking about 5 albums. Pun never did that. We're talking about...
because he fucking died, bruv.
Bruv, I'm just spitting the facts. Look.
I've been there. I've been to the Queen's Memorial. I've been there.
I'm just spitting facts. Did he release 5 albums?
No, because he
Don't give me no reasons, please. Should have started rapping earlier, okay?
It's mad chat.
5 albums that are all pretty much recognized as classics. Well, I mean, let's say 4 because this new one will be, but isn't just yet.
It will not, but that's fine.
The Grammys, the cultural impact, the success. Come on, man. Like, it's okay to have your greats. It's okay to have your favorites, but don't conflate, you know what I mean?
This album's mids. What I will say is that the second half is better than the first half.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
I enjoyed, I gave up after 3 tracks. I gave up after 3 tracks. I stopped listening at Worldwide Steppers.
That's track number
3.
What?
And I only went back to it.
You out of pocket.
Just please stop. I went back to it because you told me I had to listen to it for the podcast.
What we need to do.
I'm quite old school in that I like albums that take you through a journey as the album develops. I like an album to be a single record, a single entity, which is why I was critical of Donda, because it's just a collection of dog shit. And this is, I've got time for eclectic albums. I've got time for albums that have range and have variance. I like albums to be put forward as a single constituent. I don't like the way that modern music is all based around single culture. I feel like albums are more important as an artist's record and are more significant of an artist's output than singles.
Proper old man, bro.
I am an old man. I've always been an old man, and that's fine. I know who I am. It just feels to me like Kendrick Lamar doesn't know who he is.
What?
On this album.
Huh?
He says in one of his songs, is it not N95 itself, that he's been struggling from writer's block for the last 2 years. One of the more famous.
It wasn't N95, but yeah,
it's one of the dead songs. And it's very clear that this is an album made by a rapper.
He actually said he struggled for writer's block for 2 years.
Yeah.
And that nothing inspired him.
Yeah. And
presumably that's before he started penning this.
Well, that's very clear from the output of this album. That it feels like this has just been put out because it was like Bitcoin, which runs in a 4-year cycle. Kendrick Lamar also runs in a 4-year cycle. And
He doesn't.
Every 4 years, he has to come out and put something out.
No, that's not true, though. There was just a 4-year gap between the last one and this one.
It's an uninspiring album.
I'm here to refute everything. And honestly, I'm judging you. Like, this could be like the last episode we do together.
This could be the last time I see you.
This is some fuckery. Like.
It's mids. It's mids. And
it's not mids.
It's time to say it's mids.
It's not mids.
It feels like this album, at least in its first half, is very disjointed. It jumps between SoundCloud level production tracks to quasi Atlanta style rap to
Johnny, you're just saying words, bro. Johnny, you're just saying words, bro. You're just saying words, bro. SoundCloud production.
Yeah, some of the production on this is very average. Some of the ad libs and the sound effects, very average. And I understand that he has a very quirky type of delivery. The way that he spits his bars is unique.
Have you listened to Kendrick Lamar's back catalogue?
I have. I've listened to a few.
I didn't believe there was not enough oomph in. There wasn't enough oomph.
Oh no, I maintain the view that Kendrick Lamar has no discernible, enjoyable bangers. Kendrick Lamar makes music for purists. Purists only.
Purist what?
Purist rap fans.
Bullshit.
Casuals do not enjoy Kendrick Lamar.
Bullshit.
Casuals do not enjoy Kendrick
bullshit.
Lamar. It's not bullshit.
That is bullshit.
It's not bullshit. Because I'm a casual of modern hip hop, and this is where I go back to comparing Kendrick. When you say he's entered the pantheon of greats of hip hop, I would not put this album over Illmatic, for example. Illmatic's a better album.
Why do people always draw for Illmatic and Reasonable Doubt and Ready to Die and all this other bullshit?
Because he's a classic.
Shit, we're not in 1994 anymore, brother. We're not
tell a story through the record.
My Jewish brother, my Venezuelan brother, my Seychellois brother, my Indian brother. You may as well be. It's not 1994 anymore. Stop doing this. Hip hop fans, we need to stop doing this. We need to stop drawing for Ready to Die and All Eyes on Me and Illmatic and all this bollocks when we're comparing greatness to greatness. You don't need to do it anymore. Judge albums on their individual merits.
Yes, and like I said, I think the second half of this album is better than the first. I think if the second half had come out as its own album versus the first half as its own album, the second half would get a better review because it tells a more consistent story.
You're dead to me.
It gives a clear identity of who Kendrick is, and I appreciate the point that he spits some real deep bars. The whole stuff about his cousin and whatever. There's some real deep shit, and clearly there is someone who is a gifted storyteller. But is this gifted storyteller a good maker of records?
But why do you need...
this is not a good record.
But what kind of records? Because this is the thing. You said to me, like, this guy's got no discernible bangers. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's Drake in terms of bangers. Drake is a pop star. Kendrick Lamar is not a pop star, right? People who like pop like Kendrick Lamar, but it's a completely different thing. Why does he need to make bangers? Why does he need to make bangers? Why do you feel... Why do you have to go to the club playing some K-Dot?
That's fair.
Why can't you have K-Dot on a long commute where you're just trying to be in your feelings a little bit?
That's fair. But I do feel like at least...
Can you answer my question?
I will do. And in the first half of the album, it does feel like he's trying to make club-like...
No, he's not.
Lounge,
and this is why I know you ain't listen...
beats.
This is why I know you ain't listen to his shit. Because if you listen to every single one of Kendrick Lamar's albums, even To Pimp a Butterfly, which was the jazzy album, so to speak, there are songs which have that radio friendliness. He just doesn't do it in a bait way. And that's actually a harder art to perfect, right? The songs on this, which are like the bangers, is like N95. You out of pocket.
Please stop doing that.
And like, push these niggas off me like,
please.
Right? Songs like that, which have the trappy, which have the trappy bop, right? Those are the radio friendly things, but he's not trying to make it. He's always been that way. Black Hippie have always had artists who can make those jumpy things. It's just not their MO. That's just not their thing,
right?
Like,
so then you can't. I just don't think we can. You can't ask me to enjoy it, right? You can't. I am relatively casual in modern hip hop, and that's fine. I'm happy to admit that.
But you should be able to enjoy albums that don't have bangers.
So then you're asking me to appreciate his lyrical content.
Yes.
And I don't feel this is his best lyrical content.
All right, cool. Relationship advice. I fucking hate you. I need to move on before I just... I've got a pencil in my hand. I will use it.
Before I just slap.
I will use this pencil.
Before I just slap.
In the fucking jugular. Nah, yo, Kendrick Lamar, very keen to hear what you think about it as a whole. Because look, as much as we're bantering right now, I understand that Kendrick Lamar's style does polarize people, for sure. It's very up, it's very down. He plays with his voice a lot. There's a very funny parody of Kendrick Lamar's style on the internet, and which I can potentially link you guys to if I remember. It's different. He's very, very experimental, and he's got people on this album from like Portishead, I think it was, I think it was Portishead. Like, this is a guy who's clearly like not trying to go for the Drake audience. So I understand why people feel a certain way, but I don't know, man. I can't remove myself from this feeling that we are witnessing greatness in its truest form.
I think if you listen to Quasimodo's Low Class Conspiracy, it's a single better record than anything on this album.
Cool,
if you want a quirky rap style.
All right, bet. Relationship
Shout out,
advice. You out of pocket.
Please stop doing that.
Relationship advice, please.
This one is being submitted from the female community. What was it? Was it last week? Was it the lads or the gals?
It was female last week.
Okay, we had a run of lads. It seems like we've had a run of gals recently, maybe. But this is definitely back to the gals' side of the fence.
All right.
My boyfriend has cheated on me.
Okay.
He knows that I know, and we are currently taking a break as a result.
Oh, okay.
We have been together for 3.5 years.
Right.
And 6 months ago, he proposed to me. We bought a house together a year ago because we saw the direction of travel, and I have never loved anyone like him. I asked him if he had been cheating on me because I had developed concerns based off a girl who he works with, who I saw was becoming more and more active on his Instagram page.
Oh, shit.
In credit to him, he did admit it to me. I know the normal response to this type of situation is to walk away. But beyond having a house and a ring together, when we first got together, a few weeks after getting together, I did kiss one of his friends.
Fam.
It would be hypocritical of me to not give him an opportunity to make amends.
Guess the race. White. You guys just bang everybody.
They are.
There's no off limits with you guys.
They are.
Us black people were like, there's enough penis and vagina to go around. I don't need to go within the group. But you people over there, you're just like, cool, proximity, innit? Proximity pappies, innit? Proximity killers.
They are gringos.
Sorry, you carry on.
They are gringos. It would be hypocritical of me not to give him a chance, given what happened when we first got together and he stayed with me. I love this man and I am committed to marrying him, or at least I was. But I do feel like what he did is worse than what I did. Although the person that I kissed was a friend of his, I know that he did more with this girl. He went on a lad's holiday for a stag do, and that's where it happened. It was a girlfriend of one of the guys on the stag do who had come along.
What? Wait, what?
Yeah.
A girlfriend got on the stag?
It's a girlfriend of one of the guys on the stag do.
Yikes.
So actually, in the rest of the submission, there's no more intel, but that's its own fucking madness.
Mazzoli.
But it's a girl, yeah, anyway. Although I kissed a friend of his, I feel like him having sex with a stranger is more of an event. Cheating is cheating, and they should both be seen the same. But although I love him, I'm not entirely sure I can forgive this transgression. Beyond the house and the ring, I'm not sure that I can trust him. I was very clear that even though I kissed his friend, I was never going to go any further, and I feel like he has violated that boundary. Is there any way that I can rebuild my trust in him? Should I stay with him? I just want to know whether or not this relationship has legs beyond everything else. What do I do?
Look, I think there are varying levels of nastiness in this couple. I think
this one is maybe the messiest.
I think they're both.
This is maybe the messiest submission we've ever had.
Nasty fuckers.
No, because he cheated on her.
Yeah,
sorry,
no,
I'm sorry to submit because I do know her. But he cheated on her with someone else's missus.
No, whatever though.
That's
she don't
honest.
Need to,
but
no,
also,
she don't
can I
need
just
to worry
say,
about
sorry,
all
I
of
just
that.
need to say, who the fuck brings their missus on a stag do,
That's
bruv?
cookie.
What the fuck? Like,
That's crazy.
what the fuck?
That's crazy. Well, I mean, she was there for a reason, obviously.
What, to get walked out with a man then?
I mean,
Boy.
you said it. So
This is the messiest one of all time.
varying degrees of nastiness in this couple.
It's always
So much so that it leads me to believe, just right off the bat, they deserve each other. Right?
País tiene gobierno que se
But
merecen.
I guess the problem is that two wrongs don't necessarily make a right. So if we were to put these two in a Champions League group.
But hold on, let me just interrupt you quickly.
I mean, how many times?
Which is worse, kissing a friend
The thing is, bro.
or fucking a stranger?
The thing is, bro. I was just about to get there, but you
Okay.
just cut me off anyway.
Please continue.
Thank you. If we were to do a Champions League table, a group stage table of nastiness, I think he obviously penetrated.
He did.
So that degree of cheating is probably always going to be worse than kissing type cheating, right?
There's an emotional angle.
But the weighting of her kiss cheating is exponentially increased because it is his bestie.
Well, it seems, from what I've got, it seems like it was an ex-friend.
Look,
Now
I'm
ex-friend.
Why let the truth get in the way of a good story? It was his bestie.
I'm genuinely stumped at this point. I feel like fucking someone is worse than kissing someone, generally speaking. But like, what's worse, kissing a friend or fucking a stranger?
Fucking a stranger is worse
Okay.
than kissing a friend. Okay, because kissing a friend is...
What are your boys?
Sorry?
One of your boys.
It's bad, but it's still just kissing,
Okay.
isn't it?
I mean, but snog's a snog, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, look, do you want to give the advice? Because I'm trying to...
Please
All right,
continue.
cool, thanks, bro. I think he is probably topping that group table in terms of nastiness.
Number one seed.
But I do think that she's well on her way to forgiving this guy. Now, if in her gut, the reason why she feels like I've got to forgive this guy is because none of us are saints, we all do fucked up shit, and the fucked up shit that she's referring to is kissing his mate,
Yeah.
then look, doesn't necessarily need to be an equal crime for them both to say, look, we both did something bad. Let's just forget about it.
Call it a draw.
Let's call it a draw.
Call it a score draw.
There will be no penalty shootouts.
1 point each.
It's just 1 point each.
Just 1 point
Let's
each.
just forget about it and build this lovely marital home. Honestly, because it's a slippery slope, right? Like, you said that she told him, or he doesn't know.
No, she knows.
Does he know that she?
He knows she knows, yeah.
He knows that she.
They're on
kissed
a break at the
his
moment.
his friend.
Yeah.
So if they're both aware of their indiscretions,
So he's already forgiven her in the past,
So
which is
boom.
why it's hypocritical of her to not give him a chance. That's
boom.
her conundrum.
So boom, I reckon give it a few years and they're gonna be encountering or going through some more fuckery, right? Because they just seem like the type. But for this particular junction, this particular scenario, I think it's something that they can both get over. Key thing was when she said he cheated, but we're on a break.
Well, they're on a break because she needs to figure out what she's going to do.
Yeah, but that remains the point. They're on a break.
Okay.
She clearly doesn't necessarily consider the cheating to be unforgivable.
Yeah, fair.
So if that is the case, my dear, stop wasting time. If you need to put him on ice for a little bit just to make the brother sweat, fine, do that thing. You're still not right for lips in his man them.
No, that's
Still not right for lips in the man them.
No.
But as Johnny said, let's call it a draw. And let's just move on.
I think, so my advice is twofold. One, you need to remove the house and the ring from all equations. Okay, because that's
I didn't mention
secondary,
any of
right?
that.
Whether or not you trust the guy is more important to a house or to a shiny rock. More importantly, is I think that you both need to get to the inevitable endpoint of white relationships
What?
and discuss the concept of an open marriage, because it seems like you're both flagrantly dishonest.
Man.
Are you happy with each other fucking other people?
Why have you got
Because
here?
you've both got form.
I agree, they're messy.
You've
so-
both got form. You've both got form. You cheated on this guy whilst, like, in the honeymoon period. I'm sorry, like, lips and other man, whether or not it's his friend, lips and other man whilst you're seeing someone, that's cheating. Yeah? And in the honeymoon period, you know when you first meet a girl, you're like, lovey-dovey, I don't even see other girls, like, red hair. Like, in the honeymoon period, you lips another guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got form, yeah,
Yeah,
to start
yeah,
with.
yeah.
So, okay, like, he's fucked another girl, which you didn't fuck another guy, but he's fucked another, like, you basically both got form. If you do genuinely love each other, which it sounds like she does from the submission, you can still commit to each other. just be fine with fucking other people. Have that conversation.
Or-
and if that's not fine, then split up.
I mean, can they just not agree to just like not put it about?
Just call it a draw
like normal.
from here.
No, I'm just saying that you're like extreme end. Let's go open relationship, and I'm just like, or they could just decide that those were momentary lapses, and that's not what they want to do. They want to be together. They want to share their own loins with each other and not with other people.
Doesn't seem like they do.
But look, we have to encourage that because I don't think the world is ready for these open relationships as lit as they sound.
White people seem very comfortable with it. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, white people seem very comfortable with it.
But look, yeah, I think that's the advice I'd give. I think it's time to call it a draw. I don't necessarily think we need to accelerate to open marriages or open relationships just yet.
You might have played 2 legs.
But
That's
if it
that's
turns
fine.
out,
Call it a
because you've
draw.
only been together 3.5 years, are you tired of each other's sex already? Like, come on.
Well, the holiday sex is different. Like, I will stand up for him that sex abroad is better than sex on Bad
You
Vibes
didn't do
Island.
anything in Brazil, remember? Keep your submissions coming in. I hope we helped you, lady friend, and keep us posted.
Yeah. I actually do want to know how this one progresses.
Yeah, please.
Because sometimes we get feedback, sometimes we don't. I do actually want to know how. So please do re-DM me.
Yeah.
When you figure out what you can do with him.
And I want to finish on a point, and this is going to sound, maybe this is going to sound like a bit of a beg, and I hope it doesn't, because I think here at This Kid and Terribly, we approach things with a certain degree of humility. Well, I like to think we're like quite cool guys. We don't really care about all the fanfare and shit. But a story came out with regards to a very, very amazing artist in the UK. You might know her as Little Sims, who had to cancel her US tour last week, which was going to be a big North America tour. And the reason why was the following. She said, "I take my live show seriously and would only want to give you guys nothing but the best of me. Being an independent artist, I pay for everything encompassing my live performances out of my own pocket, and touring the US for a month would leave me in a huge deficit. As much as this pains me to not see you at this time, I'm just not able to put myself through that mental stress." So her 11-date tour, which was due to commence this month, has been cancelled. And you need to remember that Little Sims, I think she got top 10 in the UK. She definitely won a Brit for this album of hers, Sometimes I Might Be Introvert. The reason why I'm bringing that up is not just about This Kid and Terribly. It's about anybody who you know in life who is a creator, who is doing anything without the backing of a big brand or the backing of big money. I don't think you guys really understand it. Like, us people who are doing this independently are doing it for you.
Amen.
Right? We can make cheap, lowest common denominator garbage that is backed by a machine and pick up a really cheap bag and it be so insignificant that it's forgettable, but we don't. People like us who take our free time to produce, to put on a show for you, who edit, who take photos, who shoot videos, who write, who do all of that stuff. We do it because we're basically insane, but we do it because we want to entertain you. We do it because we feel a duty to you to give you something different.
Amen. It's a labor of love.
So if you love us, and I don't mean This Kid and Terribly, we're in that, but I don't mean just us. If you love us, tell somebody.
Amen.
Every time we drop, you should be copping it. You should be buying it. You should be resharing it. You should be following it.
Amen.
You should be telling your friends about it.
Amen.
Because it takes nothing for you to fucking reshare something on IG and have the natural, organic word of mouth that took us to 30,000 streams last week.
MashaAllah.
Right? It takes nothing. You should be sending this link in your group chats. You should be buying Little Sims' music. I don't give a fuck if you can find it on Spotify if you're £10 a month or if you're on it for free. If you can find that shit on iTunes, actual iTunes, if you can find that stuff, if you can find that stuff on Bandcamp, buy it. Even if you don't listen to it when it downloads into your PC, you can then go to streams and listen to it off streams, knowing that you have bought that piece of music. You support. Buy that shit.
Amen.
The quality of what independent artists make goes up with your support.
Amen.
And with your support only. I just want to leave it there by saying I love you all. We love you all. Thank you for the support. But Little Sims should not be having to cancel her US tour.
That's right.
She is literally one of the greatest artists we've had. Mm-hmm. And with that, Johnny, big up. Have a nice weekend.
Likewise, Netflix needs to pay people more as well, because I'm not going to lie, Top Boy is one of the main shows that they got, and she's one of the main characters on it.
One day,
She needs to be getting the bag.
we're going to have a proper conversation about what we are really worth. If they're giving Kylian Mbappe $1 million a week to stay at Paris Saint-Germain, you better believe he is worth 4, 5, 6 times that. You
Amen.
better believe that shit.
Amen.
And it's time that people who have the talent are recognized.
100%.
Peace out, you lot. We'll speak to you soon.
Peace and love.
Alright.
Hold your
Boom,
own
boom,
worth.
boom, blah, 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 blah. You out of pocket.
Stop. Please just end the episode.